fired, Tim. Damn it, Tim. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Tim, you're doing a fine job behind the scenes, queuing us up, giving us cues that we can't see or hear. Thanks, buddy. Doing great. No, I'm just kidding. Just giving Tim a hard time. Thank you, sir. Tim, thank you.
The
Vince,
goat.
welcome.
Hey, how's it going,
We're
buddy?
back. Tyler's off. He's playing hooky.
Mhm. He's having a war with a headache or something. I don't know. Yeah, feel better, bud.
Yeah, I feel better, dude. Well, very exciting weekend, Vince. A lot to talk about. So let's just start with the biggest nugget, the biggest thing we want to talk about. Golden State Warriors.
Disarming the Rockets. That's the name of the episode.
Disarming the Rockets.
That's right. We disarmed them. We went in there. We cut the red wire, baby.
I like it.
Took a couple extra games, a little longer than I would have hoped for, but get the job done.
Yeah. Walk us through the game, Vince, and then we'll kind of recap the timeline of how we got here.
Yeah. They win Game 7. We'll just start with Game 7 because that's the most recent one. They get the win, 103-89 at Houston, and that was on Sunday. Draymond goes for 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Buddy Hield had 33 points. Steph Curry finished with 20. And Steph Curry was kind of cold, especially the first 2.5 quarters. And then suddenly he was like 1 for 9. He finished... I believe he finished 8 for 16 or something like that. Like he really turned it on in the third and fourth quarter and got up to a respectable 20 points there. Draymond has now every series he's played in playoff series, he's scored double digits at least once. So I mean, not exactly a guy known for his offense, but he, there's at least one game every series where he's going to fill it up for you a little bit.
Right.
So that's good that streak continues. That's 5 series in a row that the Warriors have defeated the Rockets. You go back to the 2015 Western Conference Finals. You had the matchups in 2017 and 2018. Yep. I mean, it feels good. It feels good to beat the Rockets, and this version of the Rockets which was sort of a mishmash of prior Warriors rivals. You had Ime Udoka and you had Fred VanVleet, who did get the better of us in 2019 with the Rockets. Dylan Brooks, who did not get the better of us for the most part, except for that one play-in game. So I mean, it felt good to beat Dylan Brooks, especially on the court. Huge villain. And he wears it as a badge of honor when people call him that too. So I'm not breaking any news, hurting any feelings by saying that. So as far as the game itself went, Warriors basically they had a pretty good start. They get out to a comfortable-ish lead. The Rockets kept clawing back at one, I think in the third quarter at one point they got it down to about 3 points, but then the Warriors would just extend it back out to about 8 points or so. And that's kind of the game that they ended up playing in the fourth quarter, especially in the last parts of the fourth quarter. Houston just started missing shots like crazy, kind of like what happened to the Warriors in Game 6, I believe. So it just and they were able, we were able to extend it out, and by the time it was all said and done, the Rockets subreddit was crying again, and total full meltdown. They hate the Warriors. Oh, they hate us. They hate us.
Did you see this where somebody asked some of the I forget which Rocket player it was exactly, but a reporter asked them about losing to the Golden State Warriors, and they were like, "Nah, we're not gonna, it's a different team. We weren't on that team, so it's a different Rockets team."
Right.
And then the reporter repeated that to Draymond Green. And then Draymond was like, "Yeah, it's the same franchise, though."
Yeah. He's not wrong. The
He's
Rockets have
not
been wearing
wrong.
this,
But he was
these
just like, it's the franchise, man. Like, I was like, that's where we're at in like modern sports where like players could just like openly take a shot at a franchise. Like,
Yep.
before, 10, 15, 20 years ago, like,
Mhm.
how dare you speak badly about a
Yeah.
franchise? Like,
Yeah,
you would
how dare Shaq call them the Sacramento Queens, you know? Like, I just remember that. You remember that? Like, that
right.
was a huge, huge deal, right?
Yeah, remember
But
that?
now it's like we're just taking shots at the Rockets franchise as a franchise, like, that's
Yeah.
feels good though. I love being on this end of it. And I love that I get to stay on this end of it, you know?
You know what, Vince? That's a great point because I wanted to ask you guys, post Jimmy Butler trade, like we're
Mhm.
gonna talk about the Timberwolves in a minute. But like this season was dead. We really had no hope, right?
They
Like we
yeah,
talked
they were
about it
they were a
on our
game
pod.
under 500.
We
The
thought it was
25 and
like
26. Yeah.
this team ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Like we were like,
Maybe
nope, nope,
sneak in
nope.
as the 10 seed into the play-in tournament
And we
and
had
then
no
lose
hope with that.
immediately. Yeah.
We weren't
No, not
none of us were
like
talking hopeful as like, oh, well, you got a shot as a 10. Like
no, no. We
none
were
of
like,
us.
We'll probably have to play one extra game before we call it a season." That's what
Exactly.
we were thinking.
You get Jimmy, you you get out of you get through the play-in tournament, you qualify for the playoffs, and you get out of the first round. Like I would say this season is already a success. Like post
Yeah.
Jimmy trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Where's
anything from here on out
us
is
money?
yeah.
Dude, like I've kind of seen that sentiment in some of the Warriors chats and like messages and comments on posts and all that stuff. I do like I think I agree. Honestly, like the way the season was going before the trade, and then I mean you have Joe Lacob saying worth every penny. So I kind of agree.
Because
It,
here's
it feels
how I
weird to
see.
jump on the bandwagon, but like
I
where's the
I
lie?
don't I don't know how far they're gonna go. None of us have that crystal ball.
Mhm.
Um, I could see them. I would not be surprised if they went all the way in one, and I also would not be surprised if they get eliminated in this round. All I know is they made it interesting. They made it a lot of fun. Obviously, I hope they go all the way and win another one because then it becomes like Curry as like this is the Curry era. He won the most championships
Mhm. He
and
ties Kobe if the
he
Warriors
ties
get another
Kobe.
one,
So I
you know?
mean, it changes the talk, good or bad. It changes what we're talking about it and how we're talking about it. So I would love that. On the other side of it, where you were talking about like being on this side of history, like it that feels good. For like our entire lives, Vince, the Warriors sucked. I mean,
Yeah.
just absolutely sucked.
Mhm.
And I think like once Curry is gone and some of these players are gone, it's gonna be a cliff for the Warriors. Like fans have to understand that like the odds are this franchise is gonna nosedive because you made some trades, you don't got the first round picks. Like, unless somehow you're fortunate enough, you step into a number one overall pick and that following season, it's just a huge hit and you're good. But I'm speaking from we've been in the darkness and we know that darkness is probably coming. So
Yeah.
like we're just trying to have as much fun
That's
and
right.
watching a competitive team. And if Jimmy Butler gets one, like it'll be great that he got it as a Warrior. Like he got his first and maybe only as a
Mhm.
Golden State Warrior, as Steph gets number 6 and ties Kobe and Draymond. Um
5, but
dude,
yeah.
that's how I see it as a Golden State
Right.
Warrior fan.
No, no, yeah, this is like I said, it's house money at this point for this season. It definitely it's something to look forward to. I remember the dog days. I remember 2007 we had the We Believe. I was literally wearing my We Believe socks during the game 7 yesterday. And the following year they didn't make the playoffs even though they had like 48 wins because the Western Conference was absolutely wild and it almost always is. And then that was it until 2013, Mark Jackson comes around. You got a couple of years of that. You get into the second round one of those seasons in 2013, and then 2014 you get eliminated in that first round against the Clippers. That's what led to Mark Jackson getting the axe and bringing in Steve Kerr. Yeah, so I mean, and then like you had a couple of years where they were actually good with Chris Mullin, but for the most part, like he was kind of a Hall of Fame talent wasting away a bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so just for the first 30 years of my life, they were for the most part dog shit. and
Yeah.
and the last decade has been far beyond my wildest expectations. It, I mean, four championships in 8 years. You're still contending a couple years after that one. That fourth one in 2022, that was a house money championship.
Right.
Like I was already
Absolutely.
sated, I was full. But you know what? They brought out dessert. Maybe it's time for a nightcap. Who knows? Maybe we're gonna go grab a drink at the
Or
after
as
party now
as we
after
say,
dinner.
it's a dessert hot dog. We're getting some dessert glizzies tonight.
That's right. Yeah. Uh,
Um, Vince, just to talk a little bit about like to close off on the Houston Rockets and Warriors. Young team, I see a lot of potential in them.
mhm.
I know some of their players are going to get crushed. Specifically Jalen Green.
Yeah.
Um,
It's already
I don't.
started in the forums. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know the Rockets as well as I know the Warriors, but I think the number one thing that I noticed is like they just didn't have enough shooters on the court. Like Van Fleet was really
Yeah.
good for a
Nuclear.
very long
He
stretch.
was nuclear for the entire second half of the series from game
Right,
4 on. He was just like he was shooting like over 60% from 3. That's unheard of, you know?
right,
Clay didn't do that, you know?
right. No, he
Like
went
nobody
God mode,
nobody.
dude. Like
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
he went Captain Insano. It was, and that was incredible. That was a lot of fun to watch. Şengün, he's going to be a problem. He's only going to get better, I would think. So
Mhm,
there's a lot, and there's a lot of good things to like about the team. I think they were just young, and with we talked about this, the rest that the Golden State Warriors were going to be able to get with 2 days in between, and make improvements, and we thought that the Warriors would win just because of the rest, which I think now will play a role in the Timberwolves. But
mhm.
it was nice to beat the Rockets again. But I saw some highlights on their team. I don't think they're going to go away.
No.
I think with a couple moves, they can get a really good shooter, and they're going to play tough defense. So
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it
everything.
was
Not everything is doom and gloom in
no,
Houston because
absolutely not. They got a really rough draw because if the Warriors had Jimmy Butler and played at the winning percentage that they played with him for the entire season, the Warriors would have been the 2 seed. So like they got a really
yeah,
rough
and that the
draw in a
seeding.
2-7 split is part of
That's a
it.
very fair point because the seeding, like 2 versus 7 on paper, just looks so far and wide,
Mhm.
but they're only a couple games apart,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
Rockets were the 2 seed because of, like, a tiebreaker or something, so, like,
They were yeah,
it wasn't as far apart. It wasn't OKC versus the Golden
everybody
State
else. Yeah, yeah,
Warriors,
yeah.
you know, so, looking ahead, now that the Rockets are down,
Mhm.
the Warriors are gonna tomorrow night start taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That's right. We got game times for the first 4 games of the series as well. So, they start Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for game 1, uh, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. for game 2, and then game 3 is gonna be on Saturday. They'll be coming back home to play game 3 here in the city, and that's at 5:30, and then Monday at 7 p.m. for game 4 here in the city as well. So, we're gonna know we're going to be recording next week right before game 4 tips off, so it'll be a similar situation to what we had with the Rocket series where we'll have 3 games in the bag, and by the time we start recording the following week we may know some things. The schedule's a little bit more spread out in the the second half of the series, because then you're going every other day for the first 5 games. But then after game 5, you get 3 days off until game 6, which would be here if necessary, and then you go back to another 2 days before the game 7, if necessary. So
Yeah,
and none of those game 5, 6, 7 times have been assigned yet. They the NBA is actually pretty good about scheduling this kind of stuff. They want to see who's available, who's still playing, and then schedule accordingly. I mean, the Minnesota is in the central time zone, but you also don't want to schedule it too early that you can't get the San Francisco media market. A
absolutely.
top 10 media market. You want to be able to make sure that they have their eyeballs on the game. So 5:30 is the absolute earliest you're going to see any game start um, against Minnesota. And if the Warriors if the Lakers hadn't shat the bed and they were playing the Lakers, I bet almost every single one of these games would be 6:30 or 7 p.m. start.
Oh, absolutely.
Except for the Saturday 5:30 p.m. game. That's like a prime time game that they do on purpose because it's a Saturday night and you can get anybody to watch
Right.
across the nation. But we also lose the local media. So this was the last game for Fitz and Buki. But that's okay. Not the end of the world. No big loss there. So it's going to be all national media for the rest of the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I was watching our local broadcasts instead of the national team because you know,
I do the
uh,
same.
yeah,
It's their final
yeah,
run, and
yeah. Even though Fitz is not that great in my opinion, and in a
yeah,
lot of people's opinion, Kalen Azubuike has gotten a lot better, and just show the local guys some love. Uh,
for sure.
yeah. So
I feel the same.
that
So
yeah.
how do you feel
So,
about the
yeah,
series, bro?
so
How do
let's
you
talk
feel
the
about the
series
Minnesota
itself.
Timberwolves?
The Warriors have two huge villains in Minnesota. Like they hate Jimmy Butler for the way he exited
Yeah,
Minnesota back in like 2018, I believe it was. And they hate Draymond because everybody hates Draymond. Uh, so we're gonna get a lot of bless your hearts and things like that, a lot of Midwest sass. I think we're gonna get a lot of that kind of stuff and some F bombs too, because it's not all one giant cliche, but there's gonna be a lot of a lot of hate coming from Minnesota heading our way. And for me, I'm like I nothing Minnesota right now. I mean, Rudy Gobert is a pain in the ass and a dumbass, and we've
it's so
ranted
funny
about,
because
but
you're like, I mean, right now as a Warriors fan, like
yeah,
nobody can really get under your skin
yeah.
because
There's individual players, but as a team,
as a
like
team,
yeah,
it's like
yeah. I'm like, okay,
the
Minnesota
Warriors
Timberwolves.
have,
Yeah,
I guess what I can't even really be mad at the Raptors because like the
yeah.
Warriors lost Durant. It
And
was
Clay, yeah,
and
that
Clay.
was Clay's ACL, and then they lost Durant, and I think that happened, like toward the end too. Like the Clay one, like they were trying to tie up the series, and they had already lost Durant.
Right.
So
So
I
I mean, like
yeah,
they were gonna win. When you had that many injuries, I think if the Warriors would have had one or the other, the Warriors win that Raptors series.
yeah,
But
totally,
hey, they won. It is what it is. But I don't really hate the Raptors.
yeah,
Um, the Cavaliers, that was like LeBron and Kyrie, like,
hmm
dragging the rest of everybody over the finish line. So I'm mad at like LeBron and Kyrie. There wasn't a team of villains on the Cavaliers when those clashes. There were some people I didn't like, but for the most part, it was LeBron and Kyrie.
yeah,
But no team really, no fan bases of a team like really gets under my team. I'm like, nah, man, I like the Timberwolves, except when we're playing each other.
yeah.
I think this is going to be a really fun series.
Oh, totally.
I think if the Warriors and Rockets was really physical, I think this is going to be even more physical, to be honest, because I don't I don't think the Timberwolves are, I think they take on Anthony Edwards' personality, and I don't think he's scared of anybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm not looking for I'm not looking to inspire fear in them. Like the only way to he's a dog. Like he's gonna
Yeah,
fight like hell. So I'm
yeah,
like obviously all-star caliber, talent and just really having had breakout moments last season, and he's continuing it this season in the playoffs. And this is the first time maybe ever in Timberwolves history where they're advancing in the playoffs in 2 straight years. Because they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. Yeah, so I mean this team is they're for real. Like they're gonna be a tough out. It like you said earlier, it's not gonna surprise me whatever happens. I'm not gonna be totally surprised. If the Warriors end up pulling this out in 6 games or 7 games or 5 games or even like a sweep would surprise me. Let me take that back. A sweep either direction would surprise me. But if you tell me 5, 6, 7 games, whoever wins, I'll be like, yeah, I can make a case for that. Like I can see that happening. Um, Also, yeah, and I'm just I'm kind of excited to actually like get a good look at the Timberwolves. We see them a couple times every year, right? But like, I
yeah,
mean, I'm not really paying as close attention to them, right? Like I'm more focused on my guys, So that's one thing about the playoffs. You get to like really focus in on a really
yeah,
good team you're playing against, and maybe you build a little bit of a rivalry. Maybe by the end of this series, I no longer nothing the Timberwolves. Maybe I hate them a little bit. I mean, who
yeah.
knows? Uh,
I
so
I think I
this is a
think you're right.
chance.
I think it goes
Yeah,
6 or 7 games.
mhm,
I'm gonna take the Warriors in 7.
of
And I'm
course.
gonna take the Warriors in 7 because of what you said earlier, Vince. That rest between at Minnesota and then back at home on the 18th, I
Yeah,
think that rest,
like
um,
3 days.
is
You're
gonna
going from
give it's gonna give the Warriors a big boost, and I think, like, what I mean, and I know the Timberwolves are younger, but I think what that's gonna do is, like, now you're both expending the same amount of energy. I'll say, like, the playing field will be a little equal, but I think it's gonna come down to, execution, tactics, intelligence, being in the moment, and I think, Minnesota is really good, but I don't know, man. We played against teams with, like, Rudy Gobert, and it just seems like they always fall a little bit short. And I don't know. I'm starting to really believe in this team that the Warriors can really push it. So Warriors in 7, man.
Yeah, yeah. I against the Rockets, I was making jokes. Al Shangoon, Crab Rangoon, don't matter. Dubs in 6. It ended up being Dubs in 7. But and obviously I was being a little lighthearted or whatever. But truth be told, I do think I really want the Warriors to pull this out. And if it gets to 7, I don't know that they'll pull it out this time. So I'm going to say Warriors in 6.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to be my prediction. I think the Warriors get the job done. Having 3 days between games 5 and 6, they get the job done game 6 and wrap it up there at home. Close out a series here in front of the fans in the Bay Area. And then we would be on to play the winner of the Oklahoma City and Denver Nuggets series. We all right now are kind of penciling in OKC, but Denver did win a championship fairly recently. So I mean, it would be foolish to like just write them off as not having a single chance. That being said, Oklahoma City is an entirely other beast, and they're kind of on a collision course right now with the finals as it stands. So somebody's gonna have to go up and hit them in the mouth.
Absolutely. All right, brother. That's it for the Warriors. Let's take on the NBA playoffs. Like, let's real quick
Yeah,
go over the teams that are still in it.
yeah. So you still I just mentioned it. You have OKC and you have Denver. They're playing each other, and that series, it's getting started today. I think they play tonight. I think so. Right now you got the Knicks and Boston Celtics. They're playing as we speak. Uh, Boston is up about 11 at near the end of the third quarter. So we'll see if the Knicks can come back and make steal game 1. They're playing in Boston. Uh, Indiana Indiana gets a surprise win over Cleveland in their first game of the second round last night. or yesterday.
Yeah.
So Indiana, the 4 seed, is up 1-0 on Cleveland. And let's see, like I said, Boston and New York, they're playing. They start today. OKC and Denver also starts tonight, and then the Warriors in Minnesota, they'll tip off tomorrow, and they'll start that series. And that'll also be when Indiana and Cleveland play their second game. So right now, as it stands, we're kind of matching the schedule to what Cleveland and Indiana are doing. Just a game behind them because we're starting a little later
Yeah.
because the Warriors couldn't close out the Rockets in 5 or 6 games. They ended up
Damn
taking the
it.
7th game to do it. So fuck darn it. I shouldn't have said the F bomb. Shame on me.
Dang
Anyway,
it.
I'm trying to behave.
Bleep it out, Tim. It's a
Whatever.
family show.
Family show.
Dang.
Family show, god damn it.
Um,
Never mind.
we'll get this show back on track here.
Yeah.
Vince
The
has
one that
gone
usually
off
gets it on
the
track is the one.
rails. He must have had
putting
a
it off the
Dr.
rails.
Pepper before the show. So
Nah,
I'm sorry, everybody.
No, your boy's hydrated. This is like cups 11 and 12 of water.
A little too hydrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I found out I'm a whiskey sour girly, but that's okay.
okay.
So.
Greg Popovich
Yeah.
stepping down as head coach of the San Antonio Spurs,
Mhm.
moving to team president role in the front office after 29 seasons.
Yeah, he had that they called it a stroke early this season, and he didn't return to the sidelines basically for the entire season. And we kind of saw the writing on the wall when that happened, when he didn't come back. Obviously, he's a legendary all-time great coach. I believe he's third all-time in wins in the playoffs, and he he's known for setting the culture more than anything. The reason why the Spurs got 5 championships, uh, 4 of them was Tim Duncan, right? And then after Tim Duncan, he was able to get one with Kawhi in 2014, right before we started our run. So he's obviously an all-time great. And the articles that I've read about it, like a lot of them, they kind of in passing mention the stats, the wins, but they talk about um, really bringing like team dinners and stuff like that, and just really caring about the players themselves, and just trying to take what Phil Jackson started a little bit, and then like really just expanding on that and making
Right.
it now it's the standard basically for any team. Like every team, they're gonna have team dinners where they go, like when they're on the road, camaraderie building type things like that. And just setting a precedent of of holding yourself to a high standard. He called out his stars whenever Tim Duncan would make a mistake. He called him out too in meetings, and just nobody is above the team,
Right.
but also making sure that everybody feels like they're part of the team too. So just caps off to one of the greatest to ever do it. And Steve Kerr is under that coaching tree, right? Because I mean, he played his last couple of years in the league in San Antonio, and they actually told a story about Steve Kerr on the bench. He was out of the rotation for a little while, and he was, and Steve was a good teammate, good player, but he was a little pissed off about being out of the rotation, and he was kind of sitting on the floor instead of on the chairs on the bench, like locked into the game. And Pop called him out on it, but also he didn't call him out like in front of cameras, in front of the press and everybody too. Like he brought him into a meeting and like respectfully man to man said, "Hey, I didn't bring you in to do this. You're better than this," and set his head straight. But he was upfront with him, and that's the kind of thing that we hear Steve Kerr do. Is he's very upfront with the players where they stand and everything, and trying to not let the media get in as much as possible. Sometimes some players make it difficult, stares at Draymond and Jordan Poole's black eye, and but like for the most part, you can only do so much, but what he can control, he does a really good job of keeping it in house. So
Right.
Pop's effect will be felt for decades to come.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
got on top.
no, for sure, man. That was quite the summary, and like I'm really glad you shared that story. I haven't heard it like that.
Mhm.
No, man, he was a hell of a head coach and Hall of Famer, 5 times over.
Right? Yeah,
So
what the
yeah, I
hell are
wish
we
him
gonna
the
say?
best, and like wish him mostly, his health. Is
Mhm.
like whatever time is left. I hope it's filled with good times with the closest friends and family that he has, and hopefully pops around a lot longer because the NBA is a lot more fun with him a part of it. So
Yeah, yeah, and he would always open up every team dinner or whatever to by holding a toast and saying to Tim Duncan, you know. So so thanks Tim Duncan for helping keep pop relevant. I guess like just giving some stick taps to the big fundamental, you know.
for sure. No easy transition, but we're gonna switch over to the Golden State Valkyries.
That's right.
Um, LA Sparks
Preseason. They're playing this.
tomorrow, their first preseason game.
Yeah, they dropped Chase Center on Instagram, showed the court, what the court's gonna look like, and looks pretty nice in purple. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool, pretty damn cool. I'm really looking forward to checking it out on TV, and yeah, so they also have a game in Phoenix on Sunday, a preseason game. Like there's only 2 preseason games, so the regular season is going to begin on Friday, the 16th of May. We're 11 days away from the regular season starting for the W.
Wow.
So it's time to get ready and get going. And I gotta go find a Valkyries hat. You know,
Yeah.
it's the time, man. The purple on the black pops really nicely. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, we've talked
Yeah, it
about the
looks good.
logo and everything before. It all looks great. The court looks pretty cool. If you got a chance, check that out on IG. Um, Chase Center and the Valkyries. So I'll just make a couple of quick notes about the team before these games start. Cameron Brink on the LA Sparks. She's still going to be out until June ish. She's recovering from an ACL tear last season, her rookie season. And then and Cameron Brink has been like a mentored by Steph Curry as well. So there's your Bay Area connection. She was at Stanford, and it's like uh, like her family was close with Steph's family, and so there's a Bay Area link there. So we look forward to seeing her back later this season. Uh, and then the Valkyries have actually already cut their second round draft pick Cheyenne Sellers before the preseason started. Um, she fell in the draft because of an injury, and now it looks like maybe the Valkyries have buyer's remorse, and I don't know, where that leaves her. I'm sure another team is going to kick the tires and give her a shot because you, it was a second round pick. Like there's only 3 of these picks for each team. It's a high value pick that they've essentially kicked to the curb, and their first round pick JJ, I'm still working on the pronunciation. Used to Yoshite, something like that. She's still going to be
Perfect.
playing in Europe uh, for for the rest of the Europe season, and then after that, maybe she comes over after. Maybe she's going to wait another year before coming over. Basically, the Valkyries have the rights to her, but she's not coming over right away. So
Right.
don't expect that. They don't even have a jersey number for her right now. So we're going to be kind of waiting on that on the first round pick to show up at some point, but it's not going to be immediate. So if you're looking to see rookies play, we're down to Caitlin Chen. So hopefully she knocks down some threes and makes the team. And that's kind of it for now. We get to see real games, so then we'll have something to actually talk about. We'll have be able to watch and see something. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. Very exciting that the season is getting ready to what did you say, 11 days? So
Yeah, regular season starts in 11 days. It's the 5th as we record right now. It tips off on the 16th, so a week and a half.
sweet. All right, man. Wrexham. Got to
Mhm.
talk about do a little catch up on a little bit of Wrexham right now.
That's right. This is the final game of their the EFL, the Football League One season. League One season. They did get the win 2-0 at Lincoln City. Um, Funny enough, things get a little cyclical sometimes. Back in 2008, Wrexham, when they got demoted down to the National League, which is the fifth tier, um, that final game they lost at Lincoln City on May 3rd in
Oh, wow.
2008. And so wouldn't you know it, like they already got promoted, right? But they win their final game as they're getting promoted up to the championship. They win at the same place, and this is a 2-0 win. You had goals by Lee and Longman. Both of those goals came in the second half. Expected goals, Lincoln was expected to probably get a little bit better than 0 goals, so it probably should have been, you know, 2-1 or something like that. But them's the breaks in football, right? Wrexham gets the W. They finish off the season with 92 points. A point total that wins you the league in most seasons, but Birmingham absolutely obliterated the competition. But Wrexham is still going up, and English Football League is going to have the promotion playoffs. So teams in third through sixth, they'll be playing each other, and then the winner of that mini tournament, Stockport, who was in the National League with Wrexham a couple of years ago, they're the 3 seed. They'll be hosting Leighton Orient. Charlton, who Wrexham just beat last week to clinch their spot in the championship, they'll be playing Wycombe. Winners play winners, and then whoever wins that one will be moving on up along with Birmingham and Wrexham.
So with Wrexham, what's next on their agenda? So they're going to get promoted. There's going to be
Mhm.
some type of off season. Do you know like
So summer transfer window is going to be the first thing. Right now, the I don't remember the exact numbers, but I did see that a middle of the road team in the championship level, their salaries were double what Wrexham was paying the salaries this one, and they had some of the highest salary. They had one of, if not the highest salaries in League One. So Wrexham is going to be spending a lot of money this offseason to try to, assuming they want to stay in the championship or get to the Premier League. And that's what Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney said what their goal was, right? They want to get to the Premiership. And if you're going to do that, you got to start spending some big boy money now. And they don't necessarily have to spend the level to the league median, but you can't Oakland A's this thing,
yeah, yeah.
they've shown that they're not going to do that. You don't have to Warriors it, but you definitely can't Oakland A's it. I think they're going to probably um, sign a couple of big names, and what they had been doing is convincing players in like the league ahead to step down a league to try to help them get promoted up. And I think that trend will continue. They'll look for some guys that are in the Premier League who are out of contract, but still have plenty of life left in the tank to bring in a couple of those guys to help them on their march toward the Premiership. And I don't think there's everybody was saying, me included, that there's no way they get promoted a third time. And I'm gonna be somebody that says there's no way they're gonna get promoted a fourth time in a row in 4 years. That being said, I also don't think that they're going to go get sent right back down to League One either. I think they're going to
Right.
make some noise, and if they end up, if it's January and they're within shouting distance of the tournament, the promotion playoffs for the championship to get to the Premier League, I would expect that January window they're going to make some moves as well. They would make some moves anyway, I would think, but like they may try to go arms race a little bit and really try to go for it and get there. And And while this is all happening, they're still building that cop so they can get more people in the stands and make more money that way too. It can't all be TikTok deals, right? Sponsorships and stuff. So the this I'll tell you what, this season of Welcome to Wrexham is going to be fire. The documentary. It's like, yeah, I'm excited to see the behind the scenes of how this season went with that. So that being said, it's like I said, the next step is bring in some players, bring in some more championship caliber players onto the roster in this summer transfer window, and basically they have until I don't remember when exactly it closes. I believe it's sometime in August, but I'll have to double check that. But now's the time to celebrate getting promoted. Next week is when we start worrying about who we're bringing in. So yeah, there's your Wrexham update. That being said, I think it's time to move back,
Yeah, Bay
bring it
FC,
back
brother.
home. Chaos League, so Chaos League and hard. Um, so in the 6th minute, San Diego, Wesley gets a goal. It was a nice goal. It was very well designed. Carly Lima on Bay FC, the rookie, gets her second goal of the season. That was a cross from Kundanaji, I believe, and then just puts it right past Kaylin Sheridan, the goalkeeper for San Diego. In the 27th minute, Bay FC goalkeeper Silkowitz gets a save on a penalty kick. San Diego Wave hit the crossbar 3 separate times that I saw. And this game was happening while the Warriors game was happening as well. So I was like, had them alternating between the tablet and the big screen. But yeah, so this game was absolutely wild, full of chances. When you look at the expected goals, um, the expected goals was 2-1 in favor of San Diego. Funny enough, that's what the final score ended up being, because in the 5th minute of stoppage time, 17-year-old rookie Armstrong, Trinity Armstrong, that's her name. She off of a corner kick, she heads the ball down viciously into the ground, and then it bounces over the top of Silkowitz's outstretched arms. That's her first career goal. In the 5th minute of stoppage time, Bay FC had a point in hand, and then the point was gone. They were in 9th place, and San Diego was in 8th place. But that's not what ended up happening. That goal moved San Diego all the way up to 3rd, and it dropped Bay FC down to 10. So it doesn't get any easier. Sunday morning, they're playing at Kansas City Current. And as you look at the standings, oh, yeah, look at that. Kansas City Current at the top of the standings, 15 points in 7 games. They have 14 goals for, or they've only allowed 5 goals against. And they've, and most of those goals have come in the last couple of weeks because they've actually dropped a couple of games here. So, we may be catching them at a fortunate time, or are we catching them right as they're starting to really focus in and get and right the ship? So to be determined. Obviously, I am nervous. You're going against the number 1 team in the league right now. Kansas City and Orlando. They're top of the table for a reason. They're the class of the league. They were. Orlando just won the championship last year. Kansas City has the new stadium, and they've last year had set all kinds of attendance records for that franchise, and they're continuing form there. We're gonna get to see an old friend, Kayla Sharples, who was the starting defender for Bay FC right up until we traded for Abby Dahlkemper. So we get to see an old friend, and that's our. It's time for Albertine Montoya to kind of start mixing it up a little bit offensively, because right now AFC is not scoring any goals. In 7 games played, they have 7 goals. They've allowed 8, so they're -1 on goal differential. But like for a team with players that have a pedigree of scoring, like Rachel Kundananji, like Asisaro Shwala, Carly Lima has 2 goals. Kiki Pickett has 2 goals. Kiki Pickett is a defensive midfielder. So your top scorers are a rookie and a defensive focused midfielder, and that's unacceptable. And it's time to start mixing up the lineup a little bit. I want to see different combinations out of Albertine Montoya and the squad because um, I these 1-1 games, these 1-0 games, these 2-1 games where you're only getting one goal, that's not gonna cut it in this league. They're playing a lot better defensively. Silkowitz stopping that PK, incredible. The scream I scrumped when that happened. I'm surprised Dolphins didn't start like off the coast, start like look up and go, what the hell? But it was like the defense is looking great overall. That like it was an unfortunate situation with the corner kick in the 5th minute of stoppage time that ended up surrendering this game. But we need offense. We need more goals scored, and I'm tired of seeing the same thing happen over and over and over and over and over again. It's time to get some W's. I want to see a 3-1 victory. I want to see, like even if you lose a game, I want to see you scoring at least 2 goals while doing it. Like I
Right.
want to see, I want to see a little more excitement. Like defensive games, like trying to get points, trying to secure draws, and playing for the tie. That's acceptable, and that's good, and it works a lot of the time. But when it doesn't, especially early enough in the season, it drops you out of the playoff spots right now. And now you're 3 points behind Angel City. You could have been only 2 points, like they should be right there, within a game of a playoff spot, but you blew it. You blew it. So we'll see how long Albertine Montoya goes before he starts making some changes, or before the front office makes some changes to him. So I'm gonna. I've heard a couple of people. I've seen a couple of comments like already like demanding for some changes, and I'm just vocalizing some of that frustration as well because I'm sick of of having a team that looks like they should be able to score and they're just not. Like it's something's off and they need to fix it. I'm done waiting, and I hope they get
Yeah,
it
this is,
going this week.
the past few seasons you've covered this, like,
Mhm.
Bay FC, like, this is the most upset I've seen you about Bay
Yeah.
FC.
Yeah. Last season was the first season. I always gave a lot of grace because it's a new team trying to figure it out. And when they traded for Avi Dahlkemper, they did figure it out defensively, and they were able to make the playoffs. Look at they were in extra time against the team that ended up losing in the championship game. Like they were right there with a really good team. So it worked great last year, and this year off to a slower start. And I need to see progress. You say you want to host a playoff game, it's time to start winning some games and beating the team in the number 1 spot. That'd be a great way to start. So make it happen. Let's go.
Let's go.
In the immortal words of Shania Twain, let's go girls.
All right, brother. We'll move on to hockey.
That's
Lots
right.
to cover here, so
Mhm.
don't
Yep.
don't cool those vocal cords off yet, man.
Yeah, no, no, not yet. No. So we have the San Jose Barracuda playing the Colorado Eagles. That series is tied 1-1 after San Jose scored in very early in overtime in game 2. That series is now shifting to Colorado for the remainder of this 5-game set. We're gonna know how the series finishes by the time we're speaking next week. Hopefully, we're talking about Barracuda advancing again. They're gonna have to get 2 wins on the road to make it happen. But they're in the playoffs. They've won 2 games earlier this year on the road, so they can do it. You got a couple of guys with from the Sharks that still had eligibility with the Barracuda, and their seasons are still popping. They're still playing. Askarov is was playing out of his mind. So
This is great for the young
yeah,
guys that are gonna be challenging for next year.
yeah,
And there's a lot more to talk about the Sharks, but this is great for the young guys as we move into next season. Uh,
yeah,
William Eklund, dude.
yeah.
You
Scary.
guys sent me this video. This was insane.
Mhm.
William
So
Eklund injured in a game. Or go ahead, Vince. Take it.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, he was down in the corner. He's playing for Sweden versus Czechia in a warm up before the international championships happening this month. Um, Somebody gets his skate up. It ends up slicing his arm, and he's bleeding like crazy. And he's like, you see immediately, he drops his stick, and the gloves they come off, and he's sprinting for the bench, and they immediately come over and like are patting him up. The picture that we see is he's got it all bandaged up, wrapped up in the hospital. He's saying, I'm good, thanks for the prayers and thanks for the positive thoughts and all that stuff. So fortunately he dodged something major. Right now he's still listed as questionable for this tournament. I don't think he's actually going to end up playing. I think his international tournament is done this year. Maybe next year, bud. But we'll see what happens there. But I'm so glad that he's going to be okay. I'm so glad he was a very like he figured it out a lot this year up with the
Absolutely.
Sharks. So he looked great most of the time. He's still a young guy, still some mistakes made here and there, but overall, he was having fun and he was playing well. And it's a bummer that he's now going to have to do some rehabilitation type stuff instead of having a clean off season.
Yeah.
He was playing for his country. That's something that a lot of guys wish that they could do, and you know, it's unfortunate. It's a sad situation. I'm glad he's gonna be okay, and he's definitely gonna be ready for training camp in September. Um, I say definitely. I don't know that for sure, but almost certainly. Let me just clarify. But as long as it sounds like everything was a clean enough cut that they were able to fix it up. Just gotta watch for infections and things like that. So as long as everything goes according to plan, we're gonna be just fine, and he'll be ready for training camp in September.
Absolutely.
Dodged a bullet there, big time.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the Sharks got jobbed by the NHL.
Uh, yeah. This literally just happened an
Peter.
hour before we started recording tonight. The New York Islanders of all teams, they end up winning the first overall pick in the 2025 draft lottery. They were sitting in the 10 spot, and so they didn't have a whole lot of chances to get up there, but those chances hit. And so they're picking number one. And actually, Utah ended up winning the second lottery spot, but because the NHL has this rule where teams can only move up 10 spots, they were sitting in 14. They're now moved up to 4. Okay. Now, because of that, that means that the Sharks slide into number 2, Chicago is number 3, and so on and so forth. Uh, so the Sharks will get the second overall pick. Tyler's already sending us highlight reels of Michael Misa, um, assuming that Schrader is going to be the number 1 pick overall. That being said, that's not a certainty. Um, it's not clear cut like it was last year, where Macklin Celebrini is absolutely gonna be the dude. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Islanders are gonna have to actually do a little bit of work here and try to figure out which guy they're gonna take, and the Sharks will get the other one. You know, so I'm not mad about this. Like, um, I have this belief that you try to draft the best player available, no matter what the position, because hockey is such a dangerous sport. Guys are running around with blades strapped to their shoes,
Right.
man, on frozen water. Literally, we just saw a dangerous thing happen to William Eklund, right? Like, so you never know what's going to happen. So you just draft the best guy available and then try to augment through trades and stuff. Obviously, they're a little bit shallower on the defensive line, so they do need to address that and boost that. Even in the minor league system, they do need some more defensive depth. And Schrader would have been great for that. I'm not saying he's absolutely not going to be there for the Sharks at 2, but if he's not, I think you just grab Misa and then try to figure out defense either later in the draft when it's a little bit closer between players, offense and defense. You don't want to reach. Yeah, and then possibly miss
Or
out
do
on
you,
an
you know,
all-world talent.
or you trade down. I mean,
That
there's
too.
a few teams that have a bunch of first round picks and number 2 picks. Do you just trade out and, when's the next best defenseman that you can get in later
Right,
rounds or
yeah.
later
Yeah,
first round? Like, have a
can you
broader
trade down
net.
to 5 or 6? Is somebody down there willing to move up, and what do they have? And yeah, so I absolutely trading down is an option that is available to them now. Nobody's trading out of the number 1 spot. That's not happening. The Islanders are
Take one of those guys.
they're gonna take one of those players,
Mhm.
and you know what? The Islanders have a history of making dumb decisions, so we're not out like they're not out of the woods just yet. They could do something really stupid. That being said, we'll see what happens. Speaking of rookies and making good decisions, Macklin Celebrini, he is a finalist for the Calder Trophy. Uh, that's the basic that's your Rookie of the Year award. Um, excuse me, no Shark has ever won it. Logan Couture was a finalist in his rookie year. That's the closest anybody's gotten. Uh, it'd be nice to add that to the hardware. Dustin Wolf, the goalie in Calgary, he's a finalist as well. Uh, that being said, let's see. Lane Houston is the other one. The Montreal Canadiens defender, I believe. He's the other finalist. So it'll be between those three. So you either have a forward, a defenseman, or a goalie. Don't know when the last time that's happened for a Calder Trophy. That being said, I really hope Macklin gets it. Lane Hudson's had a hell of a season, and so has Dustin Wolf. I mean, Calgary Calgary's season was like like unthinkable.
Right.
What they did. They were right there right up until the end. They ended up not quite making the playoffs. But Dustin Wolf had almost 30 wins. He was at 29 wins. The franchise record is 30 wins for Calgary. So he almost set the franchise record for wins in his rookie season. So Calgary's going to be a bit of a problem going forward as well. Let's see. Hudson's 60, he had 66 points, 60 assists. So huge. That's an NHL record for a rookie blue liner. Let's see what else do we got. Celebrini had 63 points. He also played in fewer games than Lane Hudson, and he had 25 goals. Obviously, he had a hat trick as well in at the end of the season on April 9th. Let's see. Yeah, that was also a 5-point game for him in that one. And then, like I said, Dustin Wolf had a 910 save percentage. Um, let's see, he had 12 more saves than expected, and three shutouts. So like he's like advanced stats. The last rookie to win the Calder Trophy was in 2009. Steve Mason for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, so there's it's going to be close, but I hope Macklin gets it. I'm not going to be entirely surprised if he doesn't. That being said, go Macklin.
Yeah, I definitely want Macklin Celebrini to win it. I just think that with Dustin Wolf almost being a playoff team, and because of his play, they like were in it because of him.
Yeah,
I think that might be the thing that puts him over the edge. I think numbers, apples to apples. Um, I know it's a defenseman, but I think, Macklin's numbers and what he did for his team are like way more impactful. But I think when Dustin Wolf, you look at the records, that's going to be in his favor because of the goalie position. Because he,
right.
it's like a pitcher. You get those wins and losses and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I won't be, I'll be surprised if Lane Hudson wins it. That would be the biggest surprise for me.
Okay.
Not because he's, I just think because
Undeserving or anything. No.
right. No,
He
it's not
absolutely
because of
is
that.
phenomenal year. Yeah.
Right. It's just Macklin Celebrini, he is the number one overall pick, had a great year, didn't have the record, but Dustin Wolf had a great year and he had the record. So I think that's how do you undo that? But
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
biased.
It's going to be a
Go
little bit
Macklin.
tough. Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at the standings at the end of the year. The team in last place is having all kinds of fun. They're having sleepovers and just good vibes in last place. And the team right above them, Chicago, that thing is a nightmare. That thing's about to implode like crazy. Connor Bedard may end up going elsewhere. Like he may not sign his you know there's blood in the water, baby. Go be a shark. You know.
I know, dude.
Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Let's just talk Stanley Cup date. The NHL playoffs are happening right now. Toronto is up 4-1 on Florida as the second round begins in the East. The other side of the Eastern bracket, you have Washington and Carolina, and then in the West, you have Winnipeg. They get the winner in overtime of Game 7 to defeat St. Louis. Absolutely wild series. The home team won and ended up winning every game, but man, St. Louis made it crazy close as an 8 seed over the President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets. They will be playing Dallas in the second round. Dallas eliminated Colorado, who that series also went 7, and Colorado was a trendy, kind of dark horse pick is the word I was looking for
Right.
to win the Stanley Cup. They're gone in the first round. Vegas ended up beating Minnesota in 6. They will be playing Edmonton, and Edmonton, after losing the first 2 games of the series to LA, they end up winning the last 4. So Vegas is going to be the higher seed in that one, and then God, I'm cheering for the Meteor in that one. I can't cheer for Edmonton or Vegas on that one. So, Dallas has some old wounds from 2006 and 2009 that I'm not loving, or not 2010 that I'm not loving. But so I guess out of the West, I'm kind of hoping Winnipeg kind of hangs on. When I look at the East, Burnsies in Carolina. Could be fun to see Washington. I don't really want to see Florida win again, and it's always funny when Toronto loses, especially if they can find a fun way, a new and unique way to do it. That'll be kind of fun. So I guess I'm hoping for a Winnipeg Carolina Stanley Cup final as it stands right now. We're gonna keep an eye on it, and we'll see how that shakes out. Could be like maybe I'm right. Maybe I get what I want, but I won't count on it. I never count on that. So uh, it'll be fun, right? It's gonna be fine. Vegas isn't gonna win again, are they? I hope not. Please,
I hope not.
please, like I'm gonna pray to Thor, Zeus, and Taylor Swift that it doesn't happen. Every god that exists. Yeah, so that being said, I think it's time to move on to football. Just a couple of quick notes here. George Kittle is the highest paid tight end in the league right now. He signed an extension, 40 million guaranteed. That's 4 years and 76.4 million possible. And then breaking news earlier today, right around 2 p.m. Pacific, the Ravens have released Justin Tucker, and I don't think anybody's gonna sign him because he's got some allegations out there. There's some gations out there. Being a badman in going full Deshaun Watson in some massage parlors in the Baltimore area. So I don't see any team signing him. Definitely not until whatever happens with the courts and everything settles. Of course, that's all a lot to be determined. But Baltimore did release this glowing "We're gonna miss you, buddy" statement from the general manager Eric DaCosta. So I mean, I'm not gonna bother reading it, but there's a big thing. They didn't have to do anything more than just say the Ravens have released Justin Tucker, because there's some really bad, egregious stuff in these allegations. But like in their statement, they're like, "Oh, we miss you. You're one of the greatest ever." Blah 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 blah. We've made this super tough decision. Blah 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 blah. Just say you released him. It's just not a good look, guys. I mean, if you're trying to cut ties with the guy, cut ties with the guy. Like, good God, some people need to go to like I don't know, like PR school or something, man. I don't know. This is wild. Maybe our Lord and Savior Taylor Swift can hire out her PR team to help the NFL a little bit, because these guys keep sitting on their ball sacks, man.
Yeah. I guess if this is the season to say you're going to do it because of performance, he had his worst year by a
That is
long shot.
correct.
So,
Yep.
um, so if you're going to do it, I guess this is the best season to do it. But
Still bad. Still bad look.
still
Like,
bad.
yeah. Uh, ugh. there's there's no easy transition out of that. So
I don't want to talk about him anymore.
yeah, moving on. um, that being said, that's actually the last point I had. Toronto is up 4-1 right now on Florida. In the second period of game one of that series. Um, yeah. Anything else breaking news that I'm seeing? No, I'm not seeing anything. How about you, Sam? You got anything
Nothing
showing up?
breaking. Just still high on my Raiders draft, dude. I've been talking to
Yeah.
all my people on my normal routes as I check in, and Raider Nation's feeling pumped, dude. It's like the most unified I ever remember the fan base in a really long time.
Yeah.
Um, which is kind of nice, Now we're just like it's like Raider fans debating on like little things, but the consensus is they hit on the draft. And now that I'm getting deeper into it, and you're watching every stupid highlight play that doesn't matter when they make the team or whatever or not, but you see the potential, and I'm still
Yeah.
high on that. So I'm stoked, man.
Mhm.
I'm ready for who the Sharks are gonna get. I'm
Mhm.
excited for this
Yeah.
first season of Valkyrie basketball. I don't think they're gonna be very good, but I'm still excited for it. I'm
That's
I'm
right.
ready to get on the bandwagon because it's our team, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
We've got somebody nearby to cheer for, and that's kind of what we've been waiting for.
Absolutely. I'm
This is the
super
first
excited,
time the
obviously, for
WNBA is
football.
in the Bay Area. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, absolutely.
the closest
I'm
we had
stoked.
before was the Sacramento Monarchs, and I'm not going to Sacramento to watch to watch a team I don't care about.
Exactly. No, I'm
Like, but
excited,
now I
man.
got a
There's
team
so much.
here, and
There's
we're
so much.
jacking their color scheme too and making it a better purple.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either until just now.
It's gonna be fun, man. There's so much to
Mhm.
look forward to. Football is king though, so I can't wait until preseason is here and you start seeing who's making the roster and how they all look, and start getting ready for fantasy football and going through that grind. So I'm excited.
Yeah. The Knicks and Boston Celtics, they're going to overtime, tied at 100. So, Lawler's Law is interesting right now. I don't even know who got to 100 first and who tied it, but yeah. So that's going to be a pretty interesting series to keep an eye on the days when the Warriors are not playing. So, that being said, I guess that's it for me. Let's call it a show, dude.
Let's do it, man. Ran a
Yeah.
little extra.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to wrap this out or no?
Oh,
Oh,
I close the window.
I got it, dude. I got you. I got you. I got this. How dare you? Thanks for listening to the show, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. If you don't have time to listen to the full episode, we're putting out segments on YouTube as well. So check those out. They release the rest of the week. We record on Mondays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you get different segments from what we talked about. Follow us on social media at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into them DMs. You know how it goes. Have a great night, FJF, and we'll see you next week.
Good night,